Hi everyone, this is Caroline who speaks the State of Our World on Friday, June 18, 2021. So what is it? Good, better, and different? All three, I'm afraid. The coronavirus is still with us, but it is declining. Um, some shocking headlines we can discuss a little bit. Brazil has a really high number of cases from the coronavirus, and they're approaching 500,000 fatalities from coronavirus. Here in the U.S., we've just passed 600,000. The Brazilian Senate had an inquiry into the Bolsonaro's work on the coronavirus, and have now nearly 500,000 fatalities. And the Brazilian Senate, into the President Bolsonaro's handling of the pandemic, shows his government failed to respond to 53 out of 81 communications sent by Pfizer offering to negotiate the sale of COVID vaccines to Brazil, leading to a disastrous delay in mass vaccinations. That is very sad. But the leader of Brazil hates the indigenous people of Brazil, and he wants to develop the Amazon. So anyway, many of the victims of the virus in Brazil are the indigenous peoples who just don't have the protections, and also are attacked by people who want to take their land and use their land for other things. Okay, so that's very sad, but that's the way it is in Brazil. Now, in the Middle East, Israeli warplanes bombed several sites in the Gaza Strip overnight in the second breach of the ceasefire that ended Israel's 11-day bombardment of the besieged Palestinian territory in May. Israeli military said the strikes targeted Hamas in retaliation for incendiary balloons launched from Gaza. There were no immediate reports of casualties. Israel's assault last month killed at least 253 Palestinians, including 66 children, and wounded more than 1,900 people. At least 12 people in Israel, including 2 children, were killed by rockets fired from Gaza. UN Human Rights Chief said Israel's actions may have constituted war crimes. So why are we continuing to send these warplanes and bombs to Israel? We give Israel billions of dollars in aid, which they used to buy military weapons, and then they in turn use these to wound and maim and kill the Palestinians. Very, very sad. But that's the way it is. Israel can do no wrong. They are angels. Okay. Now, also in the Middle East, Palestinians are mourning the West Bank teenagers killed while protesting illegal Israeli settlements. In the West Bank, hundreds of Palestinians rallied Thursday at the funeral of Ahmed Shamsa, a 16-year-old shot in the head by Israeli forces at a protest Wednesday in the town of Beita. He was killed less than a week after the Israeli soldier shot dead 15-year-old Mohammed Hamayel at another protest against the expansion of an illegal Israeli settlement in Beita. Local Palestinians say Israeli settlers have repeatedly raided their town to chop down olive trees and vandalize their property with impunity. So why don't we make our aid to Israel conditioned? It has to be used for defense, not to attack Palestinians, not to destroy their property, and not to expand their settlements or build any settlements. I think we should go back to the original borders that Israel was created with in 1948. I think that would be very nice, but I'm not sure if that has a possibility of happening. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of Nestle and Cargill in a child slave labor case. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Nestle and Cargill yesterday after 6 former child slave laborers accused of massive corporations of complicity in their trafficking and enslavement. The men were trafficked from Mali as children and forced to work on cocoa plantations in the Ivory Coast, which supplied the U.S. companies. Neil Katyal, a former acting Solicitor General under President Obama, who represented Nestle and Cargill, argued they should not be held responsible because they are corporations, not individuals. They should be held responsible for their actions. They are corporations, but they have individuals, people who run them. What Nestle is notorious for doing is stealing water. You ever go to the grocery store to buy bottled water? Well, Nestle sells a lot of bottled water under their name and under the other names. And what they do, they go to various states around the country where they do or do not have any kind of a license or agreement to use the water of that state. And they take the water, fill up their bottles, and sell them. And they don't give any money, they don't pay anything for the water they're taking, the water rights of the people they're stealing from. I don't understand that. I really don't. And this guy, Neil Katyal, I've seen him on TV. I thought he was a good guy. And I don't know what the law says. They should be, the people who run the company should be held responsible for the actions they take. We have to stop Nestle from stealing our water and lowering the water table in various parts of the country. All right, hopefully someday we'll be able to hold Nestle accountable. Now, this is interesting. Arizona is to pay prisoners $1.50 an hour to fight wildfires as heat scorches the western U.S. $1.50 an hour. Okay. As a record heat wave continues to scorch the western United States with some 40 million people facing over 100-degree weather, wildfires continue to rage in the southwest. In Arizona, the massive Telegraph fire merged with the Mescal wildfire and has burned over 200,000 acres. This comes as the Arizona legislature approved a new funding package that will pay prisoners just $1.50 an hour to fight fires. $1.50 an hour. I thought the minimum wage was about $7.25 an hour federally. That's a real bargain. Now, is this a new form of slavery? Incarcerated firefighters are paid $1 an hour. In Arizona, they get $1.50 an hour. So they get a 50% increase. California has raging climate-fueled wildfires with the hidden men and women on the front lines of the state's ever-growing fire season, prisoner firefighters. Of the 13,000 firefighters battling blazes across the state, more than 2,500 are prisoners, while salaried firefighters earn an annual mean wage of $74,000 a year plus benefits. Prisoners earn $1 an hour when fighting active fires. According to some estimates, California saves up to $100 million a year by using prison labor to fight its biggest environmental problem. A team from Democracy Now! Traveled to the Delta Conservation Camp, which is a low-security prison about an hour north of San Francisco, where more than 100 men are imprisoned. And the incarcerated men were interviewed. They were firefighters, and they just returned from a 24-hour shift in the Shell fire in Napa County. Wow, they pay them a lot. They get a real bargain from them. People should go to they can't go to Arizona because they're prisoners. But is this slavery? New form of slavery? I don't know. But if someone's doing a job that's a non-prisoner would earn $74,000 a year for plus benefits, that's what you should be paying the prisoners. And when they get out of prison, you should hire them at full wages and full benefits. All right, now, so that's very sad what's happening, but that's life here in the U.S. It's a real sad commentary on our values, the way we treat people. Now, there's some things in the news about June 19th, 1865, was when people in Texas who were slaves learned that they were free. And President Lincoln's proclamation of 2 years earlier didn't reach them. I guess the slaveholders didn't want people to know that they were free. And so anyway, slavery did stop for them, and now June 19th will be a federal holiday. That's nice. But it was a state holiday for about 40 years in Texas. Now, Texas is in the Southwest. Texas was part of Mexico, but they decided they'd like to leave Mexico when Mexico passed a law banning slavery, and they wanted to continue to have slaves, so they left Mexico, and they became part of the U.S., so that's part of the Mexican-American War of 1848. So anyway, we have very nice history of the way people are treated. Apparently, slavery was all over the country, not just in the South. And a lot of universities like Brown University and Georgetown, which is run by the Jesuits, they had slaves, and the Capitol was built by slaves. So, and the White House was built by slaves. Isn't that nice? Okay, so now, that's a lot of news for today. How about a little bit of music? Okay. All right, I'm going to sing Blow It in the Wind. It was written, I think so. No, If I Had a Hammer. It was written by the folk group, Peter, Paul, and Mary. It's written by Mary. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer at a danger, I'd hammer at a warning, I'd hammer at a love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell to ring, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring it at a danger, I'd ring it at a warning, I'd ring it at a love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song to sing, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing it at a danger, I'd sing it at a warning, I'd sing it at a love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Now I have a hammer, and I have a bell, and I have a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Okay, that's If I Had a Hammer by Mary Travers of the Peter, Paul, and Mary folk group. Thank you for tuning in this evening of June 18, 2021, so another meeting of Carolyn Speaks State of the World. I hope you'll be back with us again tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay safe. Only go when you have to. Practice social distancing, wear a mask, and the vaccine is available for you to take, and it's safe for you to take. I would take it. I had my vaccine. It was Johnson & Johnson, the one-shot vaccine. On May 27th, I had sore, not arm, but arms and tired, but that is all cleared up. I'm good now. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. Thank you. Good night. Stay safe. See you all. Okay.